More than 5 million Americans have already left California, and here's the shocking part. Most of them are Californians themselves. This isn't just a few people chasing a new adventure. This is a mass exit happening quietly, year after year. Families, seniors, business owners, and even high-income professionals are packing up and walking away from what was once called the Golden State. When a place famous for opportunity starts losing its own people, something is seriously wrong. What's even more disturbing is why they're leaving. It's not just about money. It's about survival, stress, and a growing feeling that the system no longer works for everyday people. Many Californians say they're working harder than ever, yet falling further behind. Rent keeps rising, taxes keep climbing, and basic safety feels less guaranteed than before. The dream didn't disappear overnight. It slowly turned into a burden. And here's the question no one wants to ask out loud. If California is still so great, why are so many residents desperate to escape? In this video, we'll break down 10 powerful reasons driving this historic migration, reasons most headlines won't explain. Watch until the end, because the final reason might completely change how you see California's future. Number 1. The cost of living is breaking people. California didn't become unaffordable overnight. It happened slowly, then all at once. Today, the cost of living has reached a point where even good salaries are no longer enough. Rent eats up paychecks, groceries cost more every month, gas prices feel endless, and utility bills shock families even in small apartments. What used to feel manageable now feels like a constant uphill battle with no finish line. The real problem isn't just high prices, it's how fast everything keeps rising while incomes stay stuck. A teacher, nurse, or small business owner can work full-time and still feel one emergency away from financial collapse. Many Californians aren't saving anymore. They're surviving. Retirement plans are delayed, family plans are paused, and stress becomes part of daily life. Over time, people stop asking, "How can I make it work?" and start asking, "Why am I still here?" Research on migration patterns shows that housing and daily expenses are the #1 trigger for people leaving a state. When residents compare their lives with friends in other states, bigger homes, lower bills, less pressure, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. California may still offer beauty and opportunity, but for millions, the price is simply too high. This is why people aren't just moving, they're escaping financial pressure. They're choosing places where their money lasts longer, their stress is lower, and their future feels possible again. For many Californians, leaving isn't about ambition anymore. It's about survival. If this reality sounds familiar, drop a comment with "stay" or "leave" and tell us why. We put serious effort into breaking down these issues honestly, so please subscribe to support the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us more than you think. Number 2. The housing crisis is no longer fixable. California doesn't just have expensive housing, it has a broken housing system. For millions of residents, buying a home has become completely unrealistic, and even renting feels like a gamble. One year your rent is manageable, the next year it jumps hundreds of dollars with little warning. Families are forced to downsize, move farther from work, or live with constant fear of displacement. The supply problem keeps getting worse. New homes aren't being built fast enough, while demand remains high. Strict zoning laws, long approval processes, and endless regulations slow everything down. Even when housing projects are approved, they take years to complete. The result is simple: too many people chasing too few homes, driving prices higher every single year. What makes this crisis even more painful is how it reshapes daily life. Long commutes steal hours from families. Parents see less of their kids. Seniors worry they'll be priced out of the neighborhoods they've lived in for decades. Studies on migration show that when housing costs cross a certain threshold, people don't adapt, they leave. And that's exactly what's happening across California. Many former residents say the final straw wasn't luxury, it was stability. They didn't want mansions, they wanted predictable rent, a chance to own, and peace of mind. When other states offer that at half the cost, staying in California stops making sense. For millions, the housing crisis didn't just push them out, it locked the door behind them. Have you ever had to move because rent got too high? Share your story in the comments. We read every single one. If you value honest breakdowns like this, subscribe and support our work. It's just one click, but it keeps these videos coming. Number 3. Taxes feel like a punishment for staying. California residents don't just pay taxes, they feel surrounded by them. From high income taxes to sales tax, gas tax, and rising property taxes, the pressure hits every part of daily life. Many people accept taxes when they see value in return, but a growing number of Californians feel the balance is completely off. They're paying more than ever, yet struggling to see real improvements in safety, infrastructure, or affordability. What shocks many residents is how quickly these costs add up. A raise or bonus doesn't feel like progress when a large chunk disappears before it even reaches your bank account. Small business owners feel it even harder. Licensing fees, compliance costs, and local taxes pile on until growth becomes risky instead of rewarding. Over time, people stop feeling like contributors to a system and start feeling like targets of it. Migration studies consistently show that tax burden is one of the strongest predictors of people leaving a state, especially when nearby alternatives offer similar jobs with lower costs. When Californians compare paychecks with friends in other states, the difference is impossible to ignore. Same work, same effort, more money left over. That realization changes everything. For many, the decision isn't political, it's practical. They're not trying to get rich, they're trying to breathe. They want to save, invest, and plan for the future without feeling punished for success. When staying means paying more while receiving less, leaving starts to feel like the only rational choice. For millions of Californians, taxes didn't just strain finances, they broke trust. Do you feel your taxes are worth what you get back? Comment, worth it, or not anymore, and explain why. We put real effort into uncovering the truth, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, and it means everything. Number 4. Jobs are leaving, and taking stability with them. California was once the land of endless opportunity, but today job security feels weaker than ever. While new jobs still appear on paper, many high-paying, long-term positions are quietly disappearing. Major companies are relocating offices, downsizing operations, or choosing other states for expansion. When employers leave, they don't just take jobs, they take confidence, stability, and future growth with them. Remote work accelerated this shift. Professionals realized they no longer needed to live in one of the most expensive states to keep the same paycheck. Why stay in a tiny apartment with high taxes when the same job can be done from a larger home in a cheaper state? Once workers tasted that freedom, there was no going back. California stopped being a requirement and became a choice, and many chose differently. Small businesses are feeling the pressure too. Rising wages, strict labor rules, and high operating costs make survival difficult. Many owners say it's no longer about profit, it's about avoiding loss. When businesses shut down or move, entire communities feel the impact. Fewer jobs mean less local spending, weaker neighborhoods, and fewer opportunities for the next generation. Research on workforce migration shows a clear pattern. People follow opportunity, not slogans. When job growth feels uncertain and the cost of staying keeps rising, workers don't wait, they move. California may still attract talent, but it's losing something more valuable: retention. For many residents, the message is clear: if the future of work is flexible, then life should be flexible too. And that flexibility is pulling people away from California faster than ever. Have you seen jobs or businesses leaving your area? Tell us what you're witnessing in the comments. We put serious effort into uncovering these shifts, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us keep going. Number 5. Public safety no longer feels guaranteed. For many Californians, the turning point wasn't money, it was safety. When people stop feeling secure in their own neighborhoods, everything changes. Reports of retail theft, car break-ins, and home burglaries have become so common that they barely make headlines anymore. What once felt shocking now feels routine, and that normalization is deeply unsettling for residents trying to raise families or protect their livelihoods. Small business owners are among the hardest hit. Stores close earlier, lock up merchandise, or shut down entirely because losses are too frequent to absorb. When everyday shopping feels stressful or risky, quality of life takes a hit. Families think twice about where they park, when they go out, or whether certain areas are still safe after dark. Over time, that constant vigilance becomes exhausting. Studies on urban migration show that perceived safety matters just as much as actual crime statistics. Even when numbers fluctuate, the feeling of insecurity pushes people away. Parents worry about their kids. Seniors worry about being targeted. Workers worry about commuting. When safety becomes a daily concern instead of a background assumption, people start planning exits, not futures. What frustrates many Californians most is the sense that accountability is fading. When crimes feel unpunished and repeat offenses seem common, trust in the system weakens. Residents don't expect perfection, but they do expect protection. When that expectation breaks, loyalty breaks with it. For millions who left, the move wasn't about fear, it was about peace of mind. They chose places where safety felt predictable again, where rules were enforced, and where everyday life didn't come with constant worry. Once safety is lost, no amount of sunshine can replace it. Do you feel safer now than a few years ago? Comment yes or no, and explain what changed. We put real effort into these honest discussions, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, and it truly helps. Number 6. The homelessness crisis is impossible to ignore. California's homelessness problem is no longer something people can look away from, it's everywhere. What were once isolated encampments have grown into entire blocks of tents, makeshift shelters, and RVs lining streets in both big cities and quiet neighborhoods. For residents, this isn't about judgment, it's about daily impact. Sidewalks become unusable, parks feel unsafe, and public spaces lose their sense of normal life. What frustrates Californians most is that billions of dollars have been spent, yet visible improvement feels minimal. Residents ask a simple question: if the funding is there, why is the problem getting worse? The lack of clear results has damaged public trust. People want compassion paired with solutions, not endless programs that don't change outcomes. Research on urban stress shows that constant exposure to disorder increases anxiety and burnout, even for people who are financially stable. Parents worry about what their children see. Seniors worry about walking alone. Business owners worry about customers staying away. Over time, what starts as concern turns into exhaustion. For many who left California, homelessness wasn't the sole reason, but it was the final confirmation that the system felt broken. They didn't expect perfection, but they did expect progress. When other states offer cleaner streets, faster response, and visible enforcement, the comparison becomes unavoidable. This crisis reshaped how residents see their communities. People don't leave because they lack empathy. They leave because living in constant dysfunction drains hope. For millions, moving away wasn't abandoning California, it was protecting their sanity and their families. Has homelessness changed how you feel about your neighborhood? Share honestly in the comments. Your voice matters here. We put real effort into telling the full story, so please subscribe to support the channel. It's just one click, and it keeps us going. Number 7. Overregulation is suffocating everyday life. California is known for having rules, but for many residents, the rules have become overwhelming. From business permits to housing laws, environmental requirements to labor compliance, everyday decisions now come with layers of paperwork, fees, and fear of penalties. What once felt like responsible oversight now feels like constant surveillance, especially for small business owners and independent workers. Entrepreneurs say starting or expanding a business has become a maze with no clear exit. Simple changes require approvals that take months, sometimes years. Each delay costs money, energy, and motivation. Research on economic mobility shows that excessive regulation reduces innovation, not because people lack ideas, but because they lack patience and capital to survive the process. Even regular residents feel the impact. Home improvements, rental agreements, and zoning rules can turn basic needs into legal headaches. People feel stuck, unable to adapt their homes or livelihoods to changing circumstances. Over time, this creates a sense that life in California is harder than it needs to be. What pushes people over the edge is comparison. When Californians move or visit other states, they notice how much simpler daily life can be. Fewer forms, faster approvals, lower fees. The contrast is striking. It's not about rejecting rules entirely, it's about wanting fair, efficient governance. Migration studies show that when regulation begins to limit personal and economic freedom, people don't protest forever, they relocate. For many who left California, the final decision wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, logical, and long overdue. They didn't feel free anymore, and they chose places where life felt manageable again. Have rules and paperwork ever made you give up on something important? Tell us your story in the comments. We put serious effort into breaking this down honestly, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, and it truly helps. Number 8. Infrastructure is failing despite record spending. Californians are often told that high taxes are necessary to maintain world-class infrastructure, yet many residents feel the opposite is happening. Roads are deteriorating, public transportation feels unreliable, and basic services struggle to keep up with population demands. Long commutes are made worse by potholes, traffic bottlenecks, and construction projects that seem to never end. What frustrates people most is the contradiction. California collects record-level revenue, yet power outages, water restrictions, and transportation delays remain common. Wildfire-related blackouts and aging utility systems have made residents question how prepared the state really is. Research on urban satisfaction shows that when infrastructure fails, it directly lowers trust in government and increases migration intent. Everyday life becomes harder when systems don't work. Parents leave earlier for work just to arrive on time. Seniors worry about unreliable transit. Businesses lose productivity because deliveries and commutes are unpredictable. Over time, these small frustrations pile up and turn into a single thought: why am I paying so much for so little reliability? When Californians visit or move to other states, they often notice smoother roads, faster repairs, and clearer accountability, sometimes at half the cost. That comparison changes expectations. People aren't demanding luxury, they're demanding functionality. Migration experts note that infrastructure quality is a major driver of long-term relocation decisions. When residents feel that systems are aging faster than solutions, confidence collapses. For many who left California, it wasn't one broken road or one blackout, it was the realization that the system felt permanently strained. Do you feel California's infrastructure matches what you pay? Comment yes or no and explain why. We put real effort into exposing these realities, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, and it makes a real difference. Number 9. Quality of life is quietly declining. For many Californians, the hardest truth to accept is this: life feels heavier than it used to. Not because people are failing, but because the environment around them has changed. Longer work hours, longer commutes, and constant financial pressure leave little room to breathe. What once felt like an exciting, opportunity-filled lifestyle now feels like a daily grind. Traffic alone steals hours from families every week. Time that could be spent with children, resting, or building side projects is lost sitting in congestion. Studies on well-being show that long commutes directly increase stress, anxiety, and burnout. Add rising costs and safety concerns, and even strong incomes can't protect mental health. The emotional shift is subtle but powerful. People feel less connected to their neighborhoods. Community events disappear. Friendly interactions are replaced by hurry and exhaustion. Many residents say they no longer feel settled, they feel temporary, even after years in the same place. That sense of instability erodes happiness over time. What makes this decline more noticeable is comparison. Californians visit friends in other states and notice slower mornings, easier schedules, and more time for life. It's not about luxury, it's about balance. When people realize they can earn, save, and live with less stress elsewhere, priorities change fast. Migration research shows that quality of life often outweighs salary when people decide to move. Sunshine and culture can't compensate forever. For millions who left California, the move wasn't about chasing more, it was about feeling human again. Do you feel life is easier or harder than it was 5 years ago? Share your truth in the comments. We put real effort into these deep dives, so please subscribe to support the channel. It's just one click, and it truly helps us continue. Number 10. Other states are simply offering a better deal. The final reason millions of Californians are leaving isn't hidden, it's comparison. When people step outside California, they realize something uncomfortable. Life can be easier without sacrificing success. States like Texas, Florida, Arizona, and Tennessee offer lower housing costs, lighter taxes, growing job markets, and a sense that hard work actually pays off. Former Californians often describe the same shock. Bigger homes for less money. Shorter commutes. lower stress, more savings at the end of the month. They're not downgrading their lives, they're rebalancing them. Migration research shows that once people experience this contrast firsthand, very few move back. The decision feels final because the benefits are immediate and tangible. Another key factor is freedom of choice. In many states, starting a business is faster, housing is more attainable, and daily life involves fewer restrictions. People feel trusted again, trusted to work, build, and live without constant interference. That psychological shift is powerful. It restores confidence and motivation. What makes this trend unstoppable is momentum. Friends follow friends. Families follow families. Networks move together. Over time, leaving California becomes less risky and more normal. The question stops being, "Why would you leave?" and becomes, "Why wouldn't you?" California still has beauty, innovation, and culture, but for millions, the math no longer works. When better options exist, loyalty fades. The exodus isn't emotional, it's logical. And once people realize that success doesn't require California anymore, the decision makes itself. If you had the chance, where would you move, and why? Drop your answer in the comments. We put real effort into bringing you honest, deep analysis, so please subscribe and support the channel. It's just one click, and it keeps this channel alive. More than 5 million Americans leaving California isn't just a statistic, it's a signal. A signal that something fundamental has shifted. For decades, California represented opportunity, innovation, and endless possibility. People moved there to build careers, start businesses, and chase dreams. But today, many are leaving for the exact same reasons they once arrived, to find a better future. When you look at the full picture, rising living costs, housing pressure, heavy taxes, job uncertainty, public safety concerns, homelessness, overregulation, failing infrastructure, and declining quality of life, the trend starts to make sense. This isn't about politics or temporary frustration. It's about sustainability. Families want stability. Workers want fair returns for their effort. Seniors want peace of mind. And increasingly, they believe those things are easier to find outside California. What makes this shift historic is that it's not driven by one crisis, it's driven by accumulation. One bill here. One stressful commute there. One safety concern. One missed opportunity. Over time, those pressures compound until staying feels harder than leaving. And once people realize they can earn well, live comfortably, and save more elsewhere, the emotional attachment weakens. California is not collapsing, but it is changing. The question is whether it can adapt fast enough to restore trust and affordability before even more residents decide to go. Because migration isn't just movement, it's feedback. And right now, millions of former Californians are sending a very clear message. The future of the Golden State will depend on whether leaders and communities listen, or whether the exodus continues.